Here we go again, folks. Another fantastic news you can act on in real time with none other than the amazing Brigitte Gabrielle. Hello, Brigitte.
Hello, Brent, and thank you, and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today, I want to speak about diversity, equity, and inclusion. You have been hearing a lot lately about this topic. It seems that our whole culture has lost its collective mind. What's up is down, down is up. The whole country is twisted. Discrimination against one race or group that we all fought in the 60s is now being brought back and promoted in our culture through education and corporate America, all in the name of progress and sensitivity. Our military is out of the business of training killers to win wars and instead focusing on sensitivity training. Corporations are all about sensitivity training. Universities have even crossed the line from sensitivity training to write out oppression against anyone who advocates an opposing point of view. It has become impossible for impressionable students to earn a degree without becoming steeped in leftist rhetoric and the extreme ideas of race and gender. They end up believing that America was built on racism and defining themselves as either oppressors or victims. Universities now are requiring prospective faculty to submit a loyalty oath to the tenets of diversity, equity, and inclusion as to de facto litmus test of their political affiliation. There are many examples of universities where diversity, equity, and inclusion statements are a prerequisite for consideration for any job. At Arizona's public universities, they are a standard feature of the hiring process for all faculty, professionals, and staff positions. Some institutions in the state require prospective candidates to demonstrate their allegiance to diversity, equity, and inclusion ideology even before a review of their qualifications takes place. At the University of Washington, support for diversity, equity, and inclusion principles is strict requirement, and faculty applicants must justify their commitment by describing their past actions and explaining how they will continue to pursue diversity, equity, and inclusion goals if appointed. The University of Pennsylvania website gives applicants guidelines for composing effective diversity, equity, and inclusion statements. And at all campuses of the University of California, faculty applicants must submit diversity, equity, and inclusion statements that will determine if they merit consideration regardless of their academic credentials or their teaching and research plans. From their statements, applicants are evaluated for diversity, equity, and inclusion awareness and experience and their plans for advancing such ideology on campus. They must agree to treat individuals differently based on their race, sex, and gender identity. Leftist ideologies and diversity, equity, and inclusion enforcement in universities have gone too far in the ivory tower of academia. Diversity, equity, and inclusion statements are unethical and serve to preclude the very attributes they presume to enhance, instead creating censorship, divisive, polarizing, and otherwise inhospitable workplace cultures that are at odds with the core principles upon which public universities have been founded. Free expression, viewpoint diversity, and all our freedoms are under assault in today's America. A fight is long overdue. Many people sat on the sideline for too long, shaking their heads in disbelief, and did nothing to stop it. But the time for action to take back our freedoms and save America is now. If you are as fed up as I am and want to do something to take our country back, please go to actforamerica.org right now and join us. We are a movement of millions of Americans who are saying enough is enough. We are taking action on bills coming down for a vote. We are passing bills to secure and preserve our country. Over 180 bills passed as of today. Become a part of this incredible movement taking back our country. Go to actforamerica.org and check us out today.
You know, Brigitte, there's cause to be concerned when the military is being treated like a participation trophy kids club.
That's right.
And instead of being strong, the objective is to be gay or trans or this or that and the other. It seems to always be about sex with the left. I don't really understand, but the purpose of making a strong military is to break down the individuals and make them a fighting unit, not to make them this drag show spectacle that unfortunately has become the laughing stock of the world. Thank God that we're still the strongest military, I believe. In past shows, Brigitte, you've illustrated the fact that war games, simulated war games, had the United States losing, I believe, the last 10 times. This is not a time to be weaker. It's a time to be stronger. And it's also a time to be stronger as a nation. You can do that when you come together at actforamerica.org and sign up for the free action alerts. Get involved, contact your representatives. You can all do that all from a touch of a button on your phone with actforamerica.org.
Exactly, Brent. Look, our strength is our difference. But we came together and brought our differences together to make one unit, the United States of America. We are Americans. We are Americans first before we are anything else. This is exactly why when new immigrants become citizens of this great nation, which I had the privilege and the fortune of being able to stand at the federal building one day in 1994 and raise my hand up and say, I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, forsaking everything else and becoming loyal to only the United States of America. This is what our new citizens are required to say. Our differences made us stronger. Unfortunately, today, we can no longer bury our head in the sand and pretend that we are the strongest culture in the world or the strongest military in the world. Reality hurts. But as you said, Brent, and we have discussed this on the show before, America has lost, even in the military practice with other nations, every single practice in the last 2 decades. We are no longer the stronger military in the world. If we go to war today with Russia, we will lose. If we go to war today with China, we would lose. We are running out of ammunition that we are not replacing, and we are running out of it because we are giving it to Ukraine. We are giving it, look what we left to the Taliban in Afghanistan. I mean, $90 billion worth of war equipment that the Taliban, a terrorist organization, got their hands on. So it's time for us to face some music. And the way we do that is getting our head out of the sand and saying, what can I do to be the difference for my country, to make a difference for our country? Now, if you're still watching us right now for the last 5 minutes, you are on our side. You are an American who loves America as much as we do. We don't see color. We see character. We don't base our judgment on people because of their race. We judge people based on their character. I came to this country. I'm a Middle Easterner with brown skin. Never once in my life did I feel discriminated against because of my skin color or my gender. I came to America. I started a television production and marketing agency. I got clients. We prospered. My business grew. I made a good living. I never once had to feel that I am persecuted or I need a handout from the government because I couldn't do it on my own because of my skin color. So where all this garbage is coming from today, I don't know. This is why we need to take this political correctness, this nonsense, and throw it in the garbage right now before it's too late and come together to make a difference for the country.
I agree, Brigitte. That's one of the many strengths that you have. You're so passionate for our country, such an incredible woman, such a fearless woman, such a beautiful lady. But on top of that, you live what you speak, you say what you mean, and you mean what you say. I grew up in the mix too. We were stronger when we celebrated one another. We weren't offended at each other growing up. Now we loved our differences. What did it produce? The true melting pot that was America. All the different kinds of music, all at the same time. We're stronger when we stand together and when we celebrate one another. I'm thankful for having grown up in the mix, folks, and you should be thankful too. But again, when everything has become so politicized, it seems it's easier to divide us. But I have a feeling, Brigitte, that America is waking up. they're realizing that those people who are feeding those fights, who are trying to divide us racially, and of course with the left, everything's racist. If they don't have a legitimate answer for your question, or they don't want to address all the red flags that go with trying to defeat a nation from the inside out, they'll cry racism, of course. But I really believe that a lot of people are beginning to see beyond this. I believe that we can come together and we can celebrate one another once again. Act for America is mobilizing the nation. We are bringing multiple people together of all backgrounds and races, but what we do have in common is we love America. We love our children. We love our families. And we love our veterans and our law enforcement. So it's time, folks. Make that next step. Put your passion where your mouth is and go to actforamerica.org right now. Become a member today and sign up for the free action alerts. Be informed, know what you're talking about, and take action knowing that you are standing and acting for America today.
Exactly. And we all come together because we all love America. And Brent, I believe America will be saved. And I believe America is waking up, because here's what's happening right now. It's not between Democrats and Republicans. It's not a Democrat-Republican issue. It's us versus them issue. And what I mean by the them is those people who want to transform America, those people who want to turn America upside down, those people who could care less about our founding fathers, could care less about our values, could care less about our military. But that's not the majority of Americans. You drive 10 miles out of any city USA, any big city USA, that's where our problem is. You drive out 10 miles out of any city, whether the East Coast or the West Coast, and all of America looks the same. We are people who love God, who love our families, who love our country, who honor our founding fathers, who respect our police, who honor our military, who stand up for the national anthem, and we put our hand on our heart, and we are so proud to be Americans. That's the majority of the country. So you have a lot of Democrats even who are turning to the middle and saying, I don't even recognize the Democratic Party anymore. That's not my party. I want police in my community. I respect the police. They always protected our communities. I respect and honor my founding fathers. I don't want to destroy their statues. So what's driving the agenda right now is a very radical minority, a minority. But they're squeaking, they're shouting, and they make the news because they are destroying property and setting buildings on fire and making the news and blocking bridges. People like us don't do that. People who love America do not destroy America. And so right now what's happening is you have people who used to be Democrats. I mean, look at the walk away movement that Democrats literally shut down. Brandon Straka is a gay activist Democrat who loves America, who became the leading in the walk away movement, meaning walk away from the Democratic Party, because he believed this party doesn't represent me anymore. And the left went out of their way to destroy them. They had over 500,000 followers on Facebook. They're completely gone. It's like as if they've never existed. So what's happening right now, the forces who want to destroy our country and transform our country are coming out against any of us, regardless of our color or skin or background, in order to destroy us simply because we do not adhere to their ideology. We do not adhere to their point of view. We do not adhere to their idea of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Look, America is more diverse than any other country in the world. America is more inclusive than any other country in the world. America is more inclusive than any other country in the world. Look, where else other than America, after all the Civil War and all the history that we had, that America would elect the most loved, most darling Barack Obama as a Black president to the United States of America? How can a racist country elect that? Goes to show you, we have moved as people beyond any of that garbage. But the forces that want to destroy America are resurrecting that garbage, and they are trying to use every card at their disposal. Racism, bigotry, they're calling people names to divide our nation. We're not as divided as people may think. It's the radical minority that's trying to tell the nation that we are divided, that we need to change America, but we don't need to change America. America needs to be preserved the way our founding fathers envisioned America. And that's why I urge you, if you're still watching us, if this show resonates with you, go to actforamerica.org. Sign up to get our emails and action alerts. We notify you about bills coming down for a vote, so you can make your voice heard and become a part of saving our country before any bill is voted on that transforms our country. Together, we can make a difference. You can become a member at whatever level. Stand with us. Together, we are stronger, and together, we can take back our country.
And I believe we are, Brigitte. People are coming together. When I would travel the country doing stories as your correspondent for one of your shows, I was pleasantly surprised. People of all backgrounds, all races. A lot of them had to wear disguises back then because their lives were being threatened by the left. Isn't that amazing, folks? But I was also surprised how many people consider themselves liberals, yet they were pro Second Amendment, yet they were pro First Amendment, yet they were for the Constitution, and they were confused to see the party of ask not what my country can do for me, but what I can do for my country change this communist Marxist ideology that seems to have the media, the mainstream media, not local media, but the mainstream media in their pocket. Aren't you glad, folks, that we have shows like this? We have the freedom we still have to have news you can act on, to bring you true news, true journalism, not just opinions, but we're bringing people together. And of course, our hub is actforamerica.org. You can go there right now and take action in real time. You can also stand with us with your tax-deductible donation at 1-888-999-1928. That's 888-999-1928 for the purpose of giving a tax-deductible donation to news you can act on and Act for America. But Brigitte, the tide is turning. I believe the country is changing. Even the other day, I saw a Hollywood actor, very famous, Joaquin Phoenix, who was in The Joker, Robert De Niro's movie. Even he was calling out the cancel culture. And interesting quote. He said, "The best of humanity is when we help each other move along in the right directions, not canceling each other for mistakes of the past." You know what? America's not perfect, but we can move together into the future. The best of humanity, loving our families, loving our country, loving our homes. And we can do that with actforamerica.org today.
Yes, we can, and we are. And like you said, Brent, we are seeing an incredible movement for people even from the Democratic Party who say, I don't even recognize the Democratic Party right now. Because again, it's us versus them. It's those who want to transform America and those who want to preserve America. And that's where the country is now. I was at a conference last week and I heard Naomi Campbell, the very leftist, what the right used to call a radical feminist, speaking at the Council for National Policy Conference, which is the ultra-conservative Christian gathering of conservatives coming together. Wow. And she said, my own group that I belong to for 40 years, she's got Pulitzer winners, she's got multi-time New York Times bestsellers. And she said the New York Times came after her, Twitter blocked her, Facebook censored her, her own community completely disowned her. And she said, when I used to hear about you people, I feel like I walked into the lion's den because you used to be transcribed to me as some people who are like the enemy, the devil, the ultimate devil. And she said, you are the nicest, kindest people. Because she finally was able to come together with people like us to say, you know what? These are such loving and kind and forgiving and understanding and open arms people who love to hug, who love to shower people with love, who pray to God before we eat dinner, before our meals. We thank God for his blessings. This is Americana at its best. And when we start seeing people like her and other Hollywood actors come to the center and say, I don't even recognize the group that I used to belong to before. This is not what I stand for. Because a lot of Americans are decent people who believe America is a great country and we need to fight to protect her. When we lose our freedom of speech, when you have leftist activists who are being silenced because they are speaking up against, for example, in Naomi Wolf's case, it all started with the vaccine when she started asking questions. She said, I was muzzled because I wasn't even allowed to ask a question. This is not the America I want to live in. So that's why a lot of people are coming to our movement. A lot of people are joining us. We are truly becoming anybody who loves America and want to put America first. And that includes giving our resources to Americans, not send it to the Ukraine in the billions. We have veterans sleeping on the side of the street, yet we're sending billions to Ukraine. We're letting our veterans sleep out in the cold on a street corner, yet we're putting illegal criminal aliens who are breaking the law to come to our country, putting them at the Fairmont at $1,000 a night hotel, yet our veterans are on the street. America's turned upside down. And a lot of people are saying, I don't agree with this. Enough is enough. And so that's where we are. And that's what Act for America has created, a platform where people can come from all backgrounds, from all races, from all faiths, to say, I don't want my kids brainwashed in school. Let me educate my kids and approve what my kids are allowed and not allowed to do. Let me make decisions on my own body, my choice. If I want to get vaccinated, fine. But I do not want the UN and the World Health Organization having control over my health to the point where they can get between me and my doctor. You know, most Americans don't go for that, including the left, when they understand, including the Democrats, when they understand all the rights that we are losing. And that's why they're coming to Act for America. So again, folks who are watching us, go check us out, actforamerica.org. Sign up to receive our emails and action alerts. Become a member. Stand with us. Become a proud, caring, wearing a PIN number or whatever, at whatever membership you decide to join us. Click on the membership page, and together we can save America. And you know, Brent, like I always say, 2% of the passionate will always overrule the 98% indifferent. We got to this point because 2% of the leftist radical passionate squealed and screamed and yelled and demonstrated. And that's why all elected officials thought, oh my gosh, we need to cower to them. Corporations cower to them. Elected officials cower to them, as if they are the majority. They are not. It's time for us, the true passionate majority, to start speaking up and taking back our country.
You don't have to be silent, folks. Your voice does matter. You know, Brigitte, it's easy for people to complain that we're being silenced, we're not being heard, yet they're not using their voice, you know, besides at the water cooler or sharing a meme. But isn't it wonderful, folks, that you still have the freedom to let your voice be heard? You can be a digital activist, as Brigitte likes to say. You can be an operative for freedom, a true freedom fighter with your phone. You know, and we've used the term before. We've laughed about it, Brigitte. You know, the couch potatoes that don't do anything. They seem to complain the loudest, but the left, you know, they seem to come together and be really united, even though they may devour each other, you know, at other times. But we don't have to be paid to vote, folks. We don't have to be paid to protest injustice. We have a conscience. We have morality. And more of you are finding yourselves coming more to the side of the right side of things, so to speak. It's not, like you say, Brigitte, Democrat versus Republican. It seems to be human versus inhumane. It seems to be, you know, pro-children, the ultimate pro-choice to live your life in freedom and to not be dictated of what you should say or shouldn't say. You know, recently Obama was quoted as saying, we need full-blown censorship to silence not disinformation, but independent media, quote unquote. You know, folks, that's scary. That's pretty 1984-ish. And you're watching independent media. You're watching true journalism, the facts. You know, we can own up to our mistakes. We don't have to cancel each other out. We know that life is a growing process, but we can have grace towards each other, walk towards the future together when we stand strong together. Act for America is the perfect platform for that. News you can act on is the perfect show for freedom of speech and true journalism and true activism, positive activism, going together in the right direction. The destination, actforamerica.org. You can go there. You can learn so much, folks, all the resources you need to run for something yourself or to be informed, take action, be a member, be in the know, and also get that tax deduction that you're going to need this year. It happens at actforamerica.org.
Right. We are community organizers. We organize communities to win. We organize communities to save America. This is the voice of sanity. You know, there are the sane and the insane in our country right now. And the sane believe a man cannot have a baby. I mean, this is not just fact, it's logic, it's fact. A man cannot have a baby. And as a woman who has given birth to 2 children, I can tell you, I feel very offended when I hear the nonsense talk about men having babies. No, man cannot have a baby. A woman has a baby. This is who we are. This is sanity. We are going to call insanity what it is, insanity. And we have a segment of our society that have gone completely insane. And the minute we develop the courage to stand up and say, this is insanity, a man cannot give birth to a baby. There's no such thing as childbirthing people, childbirthing persons. Give me a break. This is an insult to every woman out there. If you are a woman and you are not insulted when you hear about childbirthing persons, you know, something is wrong. Stand up. Stand up now and start fighting for our country, and start fighting that this level of garbage is not being pushed into our children's brains, brainwashing them. You know, this is what's happening. And that's why I wanted to talk about this whole diversity, equity, and inclusion in the intro, Brent, because our children, what they're doing right now in schools, they are teaching them that you need to identify as he, she, it, I, them, zai, zen. I mean, there is like 100 different ways you can identify yourself. The rest of the world is laughing at us. And we do not want our children to believe, well, this is the way it is. This is I identify, or he, she, it is, zai, zen, whatever names they come up with. This is insanity. And I do not want my own children to be able to identify anything other than their gender. And this is where we are as a society. You want to win wars, you've got to train tough people to learn to fight and kill their enemy. Not sit through hours and hours of sensitivity training, yet they cannot fight a war. This is not what we need in our country. This is why we're asking people to join us now. Wake up so together we can save America. We make it so easy for you. We send you emails. We notify you about bills. You can take action. We've got an Act Now tab on our website, Act Now campaigns. You click on that. You see many different campaigns you can take actions on. That's how we were able to pass the 180 bills on the federal level and the state level to protect the country. We help you to make your voice heard, and you can make your voice heard with a click of a button, keyboard activism in 1 minute or less. Go to actforamerica.org and check us out.
You know, Brigitte, all one has to do is to look at the Communist Manifesto. You can look at it on Google if you want. Everything you're seeing being done, these people aren't crazy and they're not stupid. They are following a prescription they are paid to follow according to the demoralization process of gender, of strength, of nationality, of race division. It's all in the Communist Manifesto, folks. And you're watching it happen in the mainstream media. You're watching it happen in this administration, but you don't have to stand for it. You can stand together at actforamerica.org today. Thank you for another fantastic show, Brigitte, of news you can act on in real time. And we'll see you next time, folks.
Thank you, Brent. And thank you all. May God bless you, and may God bless America.